still the same stars. A story of the elderly couple who have gone to heaven together. Author Miss
Aarya Sathye.
Ravi and Ragini lived in a quaint, sun-dappled house at the edge of a sleepy hill town. Their garden, though slightly overgrown, always smelled of jasmine and freshly watered soil. The blue curtains in the living room swayed gently with the breeze, and the old wooden swing creaked faintly as if echoing the years that had passed through its arc. Ravi was 78. 10 years ago, his memory had begun to fray. First, it was the small things, keys, names, dates. Then came the forgetting of conversations, the confusion over where he was, the long silences when he stared at photos, unsure of the faces smiling back at him. But every morning when he opened his eyes, his gaze always found Ragini. "Good morning, dear," he would say, as if it were the first time. And Ragini would smile, brushing his silver hair gently back. "Good morning, Ravi. It's a beautiful day." Ragini, 75, carried her own burden. Recurring epileptic seizures that had shadowed her life for decades. They would come without warning, a flicker in her vision, a rising tide of confusion, and then nothingness. Ravi didn't always remember the episodes, but instinctively, whenever she fell, he would kneel beside her. Trembling hands trying to hold her still, whispering her name over and over. They had no children. Their world had become smaller over the years, shrinking into routines, rituals, and the safety of the known. Every evening at 5, they sat on the porch, hand in hand, watching the sun melt behind the hills. Ravi would ask the same questions. "What day is it? Have we had lunch? Where's Raju?" Raju was his younger brother, long dead. Ragini would answer them all, patiently, gently. Some days, she'd make up stories to make him smile. "He's gone to Bombay, remember? To that job in the post office. He sent a letter last week." Ravi would nod, satisfied, the fog in his mind momentarily parted. Their home was filled with sticky notes, on doors, on drawers, on mirrors. "This is the bathroom. Your toothbrush is here. Today is Thursday." But the one on the fridge door said something different. It was written in Ragini's neat, slightly shaking hand. "You are Ravi. You love music and bad jokes. You are loved. You are safe." Ravi read it every morning. Some days, he didn't understand it. But the words made him feel warm, like an echo from a dream he couldn't quite remember. On days when Ragini had a seizure, everything slowed. Sometimes she'd collapse in the kitchen or slump silently onto the sofa. Ravi, even through the hedge of his Alzheimer's, would recognize the danger. Something primal in him would awaken. He would sit by her side, holding her hand, calling the doctor whose number was taped to the wall, making the call even if he didn't remember how to end it. And every time she came back from that dark silence, she'd find Ravi holding her hand. "You stayed," she would whisper. "I always will," he'd reply, not always knowing why. Neighbors often wondered how they managed. How could two fragile people, each with their own fading lights, still walk through life together? But the answer was simple. Love had outlived memory. Kindness had outlasted clarity. Ravi no longer remembered their wedding anniversary. He couldn't recall the names of the cities they had lived in or the years they'd spent building a life brick by brick. But every time Ragini laughed, he'd feel something stir in him, a long-forgotten melody that needed no lyrics. One night, during a rainstorm, the power went out. The house fell into a blanket of darkness. Ravi grew anxious. Darkness, for him, was like drowning. Ragini found a candle, lit it, and placed it on the table. Then she sat beside him and took his hand. "Do you remember how we used to dance in the rain when we were young?" she asked, her voice soft. Ravi blinked. Something flickered in his eyes. "No," he said, "but I remember loving you." Ragini smiled, tears tracing soft paths down her cheeks. "That's enough," she whispered. And so they lived, two old souls with failing bodies, cradled in memory and forgetfulness. Each day was both a beginning and an end, but in their shared silences, in their daily rituals, in the soft holding of hands, they found a rhythm. Not perfect, not easy, but deeply, stubbornly beautiful. Because even when the mind forgets, the heart remembers. On one night, both of them sleep side by side, holding their hands together, maybe the last time in this life. It was a last happy night for both of them. Both Ravi and Ragini went to heaven together forever.